Ladies and gentlemen, the regional balance in selection of the bipartisan team was deliberately overlooked or rather ignored to project the plan as purely parliamentary and nothing to do with the regions. That is why UDA locked out Mount Kenya politicians. I have perused and seen Azimio la Umoja have proposed Jeremiah Kioni to be lead counsel to the team that will be in that committee. So that is Mutua and Jeremiah Kioni. While consensus building will be key and is very vital in the bipartisan committee, I don't see signs of breakthrough because everyone is pulling on his side. Welcome to the bold analysis. The absence of Mount Kenya representatives in that committee, I think in the fullness of the time, might need to be addressed first before things move forward. And in this video, I want to play for you some two videos here about what two reactions from leaders from the mountain. And we will find out the reality why the divide and rule in the mountain, as far as that division is there, but there is a dangerous reality that William Ruto is facing in Mount Kenya. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. Thank you very much for supporting us. Today, there was a conference of a section of the Kikuyu Council of Elders, and allegedly it could have been convinced by under the blessings of Mwangi area that has said he's going to lead Azimio mass action in Mount Kenya. And in that conference, the Council of Elders put William Ruto to task that number one, Mount Kenya must be at the table. Number two, it is time to think about the constitution. It is not wrong for the country to have that talk. Listen to that here.
Na tumeitana hii mkutano haraka kwa sababu ya ile kitu tuliona inahusu hii mkutano au ile kamati inaundwa ya kuongea habari ya nchi yetu. Sisi wa Kikuyu tulipigania uhuru wa hii nchi yetu. Mababu na baba zetu na wale wengine wako hapa wase walimwaga damu na wengine wakafa. Ni vibaya sana kuona kuna kamati inayoundwa ya kuongea habari ya nchi na hakuna Mkikuyu. Sisi tuko na shida hata sisi, kwa sababu ya watoto wetu na wajukuu wetu. Tunataka kuona tukiwa ndani hata sisi, sababu bado tuko na mambo mingi ya kuongea. Tuko na shida ya shule, tuna shida ya chakula kama watu wale wengine, tuko na shida ya representation hata kwa bunge na constitutions zetu. Sisi ni watu wengi, lakini vile sisi tunashukuriwa, kusema ukweli hakuna, there's no tuseme hakuna ile njia ya sawa. Tunasema kila mtu angaliwe kama Mkenya. Sisi tunataka amani, na kwa hivyo hiyo kamati tunasema kitu moja, ikiundwa tuwe wote na watu wote wa Kenya wawe hapo ndani, sio wabunge peke yao.
We want to note as Kikuyu Council of Elders that this is the form of organization that has been formed is a selfish organization because it only represents political aspect of this country. We are therefore demanding that we have a Bomas too. A Bomas too, like the precursor that brought eventually the new constitution.
Yale maswali ambayo yamekuja ni masuala ambayo ni halali, na tukubaliane katika katiba ya Kenya, muda umewadia wa kubadilisha ama kuongeza katiba. Katiba inaruhusu kila miaka 10 tunaweza kubadilisha, kuongeza ama kutoa sehemu za kikatiba ambazo ziko katika katiba yetu ya Kenya.
This, if you listen to, even look at that was a very well organized a press briefing, and they're speaking the voice of Azimio la Umoja. They're speaking what Azimio seems to be insisting. Elsewhere, major Kenya Power shareholder was singing his hardline stand, or rather, because the Mountain found themselves arguing whether they needed to be in this table or not.
Wana propose members wanaita ati joint secretary na wengine advisors. Wale wanasema ati watasaidiana na wabunge. I want to tell them the process that is available now is not the process of outside of the institutions created by our constitution. The only dialogue, the only personnel, the only commissioners or whatever name you accord them are members that have already been elected by the people of Kenya to represent them. We are not going to allow any other people by any title or name that wanakuja kwa hiyo maneno ya kuongea. And as we talk, let it be very clear. The only thing we could talk about are the issues that can be handled in parliament.
Now, what is interesting to me is that the division in the opinion, the divergent opinions on this matter actually sets the debate on inclusivity. It is a very delicate one for President Ruto, and I can promise you that he cannot win the narrative, or rather the need for inclusivity to be considered in that committee. During campaigns, everyone was needed. It can't be when people are talking about really serious matters. And you know the reason why William Ruto does not want to take this process outside the conference of parliament is because he wants to midwife it within parliament, and then there are those which cannot be discussed by that committee within parliament. But if it is outside, it will turn out, it will be a full-blown project that can take the shape of a vote mobilization in terms of referendum. So that's why he doesn't want to take it out there, because if it is out, it's going to be hatched, it's going to be taken by all Kenyans. This is the reality. And it is a reality that not even President William Ruto's closest allies from the mountain can be so honest with him about. Probably I'm also going to be another truthful man to tell this is the dangerous route that he must look at. It's a reality. Let me tell you, the need for equitable allocation of resources that was well pitched by the one man, one shilling, one vote during Uhuru Kenyatta's second term in the BBA process was purely benefiting the mountain. Alice Ng'ang'a, Thika Town Member of Parliament, there was a stampede when she was donating bursary to her constituents. And even those who are currently in government under Kenya Kwanza, they all understand that during campaigns, they knew very well that the need for equitable resources, to increase resources there, it was something that was urgent and it is really needed. And despite of the political persuasion that the President Ruto understands, that probably they understand more, they are lied towards UDA. But that is a matter that you cannot counter by a political narrative. That is a matter that you cannot counter by a narrative that Uhuru destroyed the economy. Because it affects people directly. So those who are opposing move to amend the constitution and create this or solve this problem knows very well that it is not about that it is a wrong idea. Even during Uhuru Kenyatta's time, it was not that it was a wrong idea, but they trashed the wrong idea in the altar of making Uhuru Kenyatta not be heard by the people, or in the altar of Uhuru Ruto fallout. Now, the reality here is this: an attempt to solve this problem is a very good ground to divide the mountain. And not even these members of parliament here are going to help him, I can tell you. The mountain can still be divided. Ndindi Nyoro once is a member of parliament serving second term. He will still want to be a governor or a senator or still MP. He will still get that seat, even if that mountain is divided. So that is the reality, number one. Number two, the president is conflicted by his approach in the mountain. In the last general election, the engine behind him getting rooted to the mamambogas and the women groups in the mountain were the churches. And true to that word, on 14th February during an event, that an interdenominational service in Nairobi, he confirmed that for the first time, the church has gotten their space in the high-making table, or rather in government. So this narrative of we don't need others borders discrimination. Remember, there are those who also want this opportunity, not necessarily pursuing the interest of the country, but because they know that there is also personal fortunes that come with it. You know, they're going to get some allowances here. There will be needs for them to be bribed so that they conform, they lean on some political side. People understand. Now, in the mountain, if you are to include anyone outside parliament, actually, I don't see the council of elders even coming in. They will actually go to the church. So he's conflicted on that ground. That is the danger. That I know politicians are saying we don't want others. But if you convene a meeting with pastors association or clergy association, the members of the clergy who are here, tell us, do you think they will decline? No. Will they agree that the process needs to be in parliament? No. Because at the end of the day, the problems that are being solved are not just within parliament. If there is a maandamano and people's properties are getting destroyed, the issue about stability of this country involves both me and you. And that is why I believe that Ruto, as much as the shareholder and the truthful men are telling you, and the Northlands man are telling you about these other stories, but he knows very well that the need for inclusivity cannot be underestimated. The other thing is this. A referendum push by Raila to head to a referendum could gain momentum. And it could gain momentum, and the more it intensifies, it has a potential of creating political realignments. Now, I analyzed in my previous video, I think today, if I'm not wrong, that, or on Thursday, that President Ruto has a record of opposing anything to touch the constitution. Number two, that incumbents in their first term, they have a culture of not entertaining anything to do with the constitution, but the second term, they're normally receptive. So this is what I see. Raila referendum push has a potential of gaining traction. You want to fight it in the public courts, but if he goes to another round of mass action, then comes back and say that, okay, one of the reducible minimums is we must go to a referendum so that the people to decide whether they want this or they want that. But whichever means, if it takes that direction, it has the potential of tilting the tide in the mountain. Lastly, I know that the truthful man, the Northland City guy, and KPLC shareholders, they are projecting themselves as the spokespeople, or rather the kingpins, the upcoming kingpins. But the truth here is, the truthful man from Madeira has failed the Gema unity test and is been confined to Madeira. You cannot underestimate, you cannot ignore Mwangi Weria. You cannot ignore Mwangi Kiunjuri. You cannot ignore the Kabogos. You cannot ignore others. So what President Ruto is also saying very well is the Rigathi rebels can regroup and outclass him. And probably, let me tell you, Mountain voted for Raila Odinga 1 million. And it is disputed. So if these truthful men could still be around and push to divide the mountain in their end, then somehow they can cut the cake in the middle. So Ruto knows very well that he still doesn't have a point man in Mount Kenya. You cannot take back the stories of hustlers in 2027 because they can't sell, because there is nothing you've done for those hustlers. Not because of your wish, but because initially there was even no intention. It was just a lie of the hustler story. So on this one, he's dangling with, do I trust them or not? By the end of the day, if I joke, they can divide, and if it is divided, you never know who's gonna be the kingpin or who they're gonna listen to. Because if Raila wins a referendum, if it gets to a referendum, then I can tell you the 2027 is gone. That's my take. Thank you for watching.